What I'm going to show you is Premiere Pro. Hopefully you'll see this from start to finish. And again, there's lots of different YouTube videos there that are probably a lot better than this one that go right into what you want to say. So here I'm just going to make a new project in this, and I'm going to call it the, I'll just give it a name here, Premiere Demo. There we go. All right, so basically just need a location and the name of your file. All right, so you click OK, this pops up. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna find that folder that you had, and you're going to import the stuff from that folder. Your clips, your different things. Now sometimes it pops up different things here, and you gotta go find it. And so now I'm going to go find mine. And once I have it, I'll be able to go. Let's see, I think it's under here. Yeah, here it is. So this is just something that I've been working on. Let's see if I can find it here. Yes, here it is. So Earth Talk. That's the folder I'm looking for. So I added these other scenes. So I had 5 scenes in my original Storyboard Pro file, and it spit out the different scenes because there's a lot of talking in them. And here are the different scenes, which I just went into the different Harmony files, and I exported them as movie files, and I put their scene numbers there. So this is all in one folder, so I can actually grab those and I can open them up and now I'm just putting them back into order. So here are the different things. I've labeled these with the scene number so I know what comes first, what comes second. So I'm just going to grab this one. This is scene 1 right here. And when you click on it, you can just kind of bring this over. Well, sometimes you just bring it over here and just drop it down there, and it plops it so you can see the visual on this side of this line and the audio on the other side of the line. So this is scene 1, and as you can see, if I kind of hover over this, it'll actually show me how long scene 1 is. It says about 8 seconds, 10 frames. Oh, 18 seconds, 10 frames. That's a duration right there. All right, so now each one of these scenes were put into Storyboard Pro, and then when they're output, I have a bunch of different dissolves in here, but when it does this, it will not give you the dissolve. So you have to go back and put your dissolve in. That's scene 1. So I'm just going to go through here, scene 2, and I'm going to click on scene 2, and I'm just going to bring it over like this. Okay. Now you see I have 3, actually now I have 4. I don't know why I have 4, but these are the different videos, right? Video kind of layers, and underneath is the audio layers. That's where that little microphone is. Okay. So I'm just grabbing all my little layers here and just bringing them over like that. That's number 3. This is number 4. And this is number 5, scene 5. Okay, so they're all broken up. And if I go through this, I'm actually going to put these, just use two layers for now. But see, you can actually move the layers and see when it does this, you have a dialogue. If you have dialogue on your scene, it's going to put it in here so you can kind of move this around and get this. So all these things are clips, and that's what you want your files to be. And you need to put them in order, put them in some sort of scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. It makes it a lot easier, especially when you can move this little thing here to actually see, and it shows you there's scene 1, there's scene 2, there's scene 3, and there's the audio information. So I'm just going to bring that over here. And now I'll show you what happened. As I play through this, right now it's in 75%, so I'm going to make it a little smaller so we can actually see the whole thing there. And I'm just going to play it. It's doing that recycling. So right here, start doing that recycling. So he says thing, and then it continues recycling thing again. So there is actually a transition there that was put in where it's dissolving from this scene to that scene. So I have to actually put the dissolve back in. And so this is what I have to do, a little editing work here. So it's very simple. You notice that on your sound, you can see these the sound file. This is a stereo, so you can see two of those little things there. Now, if I bring this over, you can see that it actually shares the same sound, I believe. Hold on, let me see. Cycling thing again. Cycling. So he says a cycling thing again. So this is kind of where that dissolve is in here. This word here. Cycling thing. Cycling thing. Cycling. Cycling. Cycling thing. Cycling thing. So we're going to add the dissolve. The only way to do it is dissolve is you have to take two layers and put one on top of the other. You're fading out one layer as it's revealing the other. Do this. I'm going to move my layer up there. I'm going to bring this one down here, and I'm going to pull it under there. The thing is, that little sound file there is the same as that one there. So I'm just kind of lining these up as best I can until, and as I play, you'll hear an echo. Cycling thing again. A little echo there. Cycling thing. So almost there. Again, sometimes you have to get close. See that little, there's like a little dot there and there's a dot there. That's what I'm trying to line up. It's a sync, it's kind of like a sync mark. So you just kind of move it. That looks pretty good. Let's see. Cycling thing. Yeah, there it is. Cycling thing. Sounds pretty. Cycling thing. There we go. Okay, so there's my dissolve right there. It's basically you're zooming into the earth and you're going to dissolve, and now you're inside the earth. You're like on the earth. Okay, so this is how you do a dissolve. I'm starting off with the top layer, and as I go this way, I'm going to fade that layer out, and it's going to reveal the bottom layer automatically. All right, so I'm going to go to the first part of the where they're joined together there. I'm going to go into editing, and usually this is where I have some trouble. You have to click on motion. So there he is. And sometimes you can actually see it down here. Now this varies from machine to machine. I'm not sure how yours is, but I do know that this is my opacity. It's at 100%. I'm going to click this little button. It's like a stopwatch, and it's just made a keyframe right there. You see, that's a keyframe. And it's at 100%. So now I'm going to go back out to my assembly. I'm going to move this down about here. Now that's looking at the other layer down here. So I'm going to move it one more over, and that's my last frame of the top one here. Okay, so now I'm going to go up to my editing. I'm going to go here again, click up here. It doesn't really matter, but there it is. So I just moved it. Now I'm going to put another keyframe. See, if you look here, I got two little keyframes. So I'm going to actually go to that. I'm going to make this one 0. My second keyframe, put that at 0. And so now if I go to this little, it says go to previous keyframe, you notice it's 100%. And then when you go to the next keyframe, it goes to 0. So that's fading out. I'm fading out that layer. So as you go through it, you can see it's there. And as I go through, it dissolves away, right? And that's a perfect dissolve right there. Now, sometimes what happens is you don't get a perfect dissolve because you might take your bottom frame, the thing that you're going to, you might move it this direction like this. Now look what happens. As it starts to fade out here, you see it gets darker. And then at this point, it pops on because it's looking at the second part. So that's what you have to be careful when you're doing dissolves, to make sure that both of those things line up like that. And then it will be continuous, right? So there it is. And you notice that this word is actually, if I play through this, and we have our sound over on this side right here. As I play through it, watch that. It'll be at a certain level, and then it's going to jump up because there's two soundtracks playing here. All right, here we go.
That recycling thing.
I don't know if you saw that, but
Recycling thing.
it really pushes up there all the way when it goes up to here. So if that's the case, what you have to do is you have to actually turn. You can fade this out if you like. You can fade as you're fading out your visual. You can fade out your sound, and it'll pick it up right in here. It's up to you. You just don't want to have them cross fading. You don't want this to fading out and this is fading in, because it might sound a little odd. So you might want to just pick one and just say, okay, I just want it to, maybe the simplest thing would be to go to your track here and just go to editing again. And when I put on editing, my sound is actually down here. So you see, there's my visual up here, all this information, how to move things around, all that stuff. There's my opacity. Above that says volume. Right now, 0.0 means it's totally on. So I'm actually going to click that. And if I want to, I could go back one frame. Sometimes I think you can just do this. You could go here to 1. So we're going back one frame. And you could click on here to add a keyframe there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on it, go to the next keyframe. Watch this little thing right here. It says 17.21. If I click on that, it goes to one frame. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to cross in one frame. I'm just going to cut this audio off and let the other audio play. And that's what I do, is I just kind of hover over this, get this little 2 lines there, and I can click on it and pull it to the side. And if I go all the way to minus 2.81.1, that's completely off. All right, so right now you see I have a keyframe here at totally on, and the next frame is totally off.
That recycling thing again.
There we go. Now it's, if you watch that level did not go up to 0. It just stayed.
That recycling
there.
thing
That's
again.
Good. See, that looks good.
All the new.
So that's kind of what you have to do with your sound editing. You always have to think about that. And so, yeah, so here's the rest of the scene. I'm going to back this up so you can see what happens.
Over the place, I don't.
So he says, over the place, I don't know. So I think there might be another dissolve there. Let's see. Yes.
I don't know. You're trying to.
Because you're zooming out of the Earth. Okay, so there's the Earth. We go inside the Earth and we see the problem that's happening on Earth. Masks and gloves falling on the ground. And there's the recycle bins. They don't know what to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do another cross dissolve. This is called checkerboarding. Why it's called checkerboard, I'm not sure. I guess it's because it's like a checkerboard. You know, it's every other one like that. So we're going to just move this over. That's a word left over from back when we used to have editing equipment that ran on Steam. So here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to zoom in. We're going to look for our audio, which looks very similar. There's some there. We're going to move this down a little bit more. See those little spikes there, and see those little spikes? They look very familiar. Well, that's a cross dissolve. We're going to kind of move up to them. You can play it.
Place, I don't know.
Hear that little echo. Let's try again. I don't know.
Place, I don't know.
So there's the echoing there.
The place, I don't know.
So it's like echoing because you hear it just a little off. It's just a little off. You can see how this is a little ahead of that. So we're going to move this a little bit this way. There we go. You want to line up all those spikes all together.
Place, I don't know.
And you can see over by my little sound thing, it goes right to 0. All right. I'll back it up a little bit so you can actually see.
Place, I don't know.
There it goes again. It goes up to 0. We don't want that. Don't want that. Okay, so it's basically it's going through there and it's going to there. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually fade the top one in. Okay, so we're going to go to the top one. We're going to go to editing. We're going to go to opacity again. We're going to make our keyframe there. And then we're going to go back out to assembly. And I don't know why. Sometimes I can do this and I don't have to go back and forth like this. I don't know why. But there it is. And now we're going to actually go back to editing and hit the next keyframe in opacity. There it is. And so we'll go to the first one and we'll make it 0. So that's completely closed. And as it goes this direction, it will fade up. You see how it's fading up? It's getting 50 and 75, and now it's 100 up here. And so when we look at it, our visual fade.
Place, I don't know.
There's a fade there. All right, so right now there's more stuff popping on. It's kind of loud there, so we might want to just go in and fade. You know, what I'll do is I'll just fade this one out. So I'm going to the second clip, and this time I'm just going to fade it out and see what that looks like. Go to editing. Let's just try to do this right. We'll put a keyframe there, and we'll go to assembly, and we'll back it up a little bit. There we go. And now we'll put another keyframe ahead of that. And this time we're fading out. We'll go to the second one, and instead of 0, which you would think 0 means off, but it's not. When it's sound, it means it's normal. You can also go above 0 too. You can do this. So you can make it go all the way to 15. That's really loud, right? So I'm just going to go back to turning it off. And so now, as you can see, you see there, the level is going, as I go this way, the level is turning off. It's going to 6, and then it's going up to 9, and then at a certain point it goes to 15. And why is it going to 15? Yeah, that's because I didn't do it right. Hold on. There he is. Okay, so now it's at the right one. So that's completely off. So let's listen. Look and learn here. Back it up and let's see.
Over the place, I don't know. You're trying to keep
There's
yourself.
a little kind of jump there. I'm not sure what that is. It might be my machine just trying to.
Falling all over the place. I don't know. You're trying to keep yourself alive, but you're throwing stuff into the oceans and the rivers and streams and all that stuff.
And so what happens next? He says something. I think this is where he just says,
you know what?
It's just a cut. So to do a cut, you don't have to do this kind of checkerboarding thing like this. You can just actually just go up and butt up against it like that. And you can bring up your sound up there. So that's a straight cut right there. What you're watching, what you're listening to right here, and you're seeing a straight cut.
The rivers and streams and all that stuff. And you know what? I'd appreciate it if you think about me more than just one day a year. Thank you. And
another cut. I think there's another cut here. Could be wrong, but let's see. All right, let's listen.
Happier.
Yep, it's just a cut. So he says one thing and it cuts to this thing. So unfortunately, I wasn't able. Oh, wait a minute. There might be a little bit of a thing there.
Thank you and happier.
So he says thank you, and yeah. So there is a little bit of dissolve there. All right. So my mistake. What? Okay. So what's happening is right about in here on our sound, it's dissolving. So it's a transition between the drawn earth and the real earth. Okay. And so I'm just lining up those little marks again. It's going to be a little bit tricky to do, but we're going to just do it.
Okay,
it's a quick. That's pretty good. That sounds good. All right, so we'll do this. We'll just fade this out. We'll go up to our top layer again. We'll put this into opacity right there. We'll click it. We made a keyframe at the beginning. Go back to assembly. And if you can get yours to work, sometimes it does. I don't know why. Maybe I have too many things open, but sometimes I can do this and I can see right here what I'm doing. I don't have to go back and forth like this. So anyway, he's basically going to be dissolving. He's going to be 100%, and then he's going to go to 0% because we're revealing the layer below it. So here it is. So you can see how he comes out of this talking cartoon earth and he dissolves into the real earth. And then we have some actual type that pops up. And again, if you don't want this type to pop up, you know, if you want to if there was a change, oh no, it's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be green, not white. Well, then you could put that on a different layer. So as you can see, it kind of ends here and this thing pops up. So there's different things you can do here, which is great because this is an editing program. Premiere is your editing program. This is what you would edit all your clips in. What I'd like to do is just extend this, but I don't want to have any type. You know, this is in the wrong format or something. Who knows? Or we don't want this now or something. So, so what you can do is this. You can copy clips. You can actually go over to the clip you want. You can come up here, you say copy. The only thing is you have to move your cursor out here where there's nothing around because sometimes it puts it on the bottom layer. So if I'm going to push Control V and it pops it, see it puts it right on the bottom. So if you have any clips in here, if I went over here like this and I said paste it, it's not going to paste it over there. It's going to paste it right in the middle of your thing and ruin everything. So that's something you got to be aware of. So I'm going to Control Z that. Now, this is kind of cool. You can get to the certain point that you want, and then you can actually go in here, and there's a control where it says, and this is what's, you know, gets me sometimes. Add, I think it's the frame hold options, and you can hold on this time code right here. And I believe if you just click that, if you scroll through now, yeah, you see the whole clip has become stationary. Now we still have that soundtrack there. So we want to add this clip to here, but we don't want that. We want it to go to this. So as long as we're in the same, as you can see, it looks like there's kind of a jump there. So I might not have gotten it all the way. I'm going to, remember, you can just go to copy your clip, go over here, push plus, and then find that spot where I think I was up somewhere in here. So I'm going to go right to, let's see, there he is. That's not moving. It's moving there, you see, but it's not moving there. So right there. So let's try that one more time. We right click, we go to, here it is, frame hold options. It says, do you want this frame right here to hold on? Yes. So I'm going to say okay. Hopefully that worked. Let's see. Yeah. See, I clip back and forth. Perfect. Doesn't move now. Great. I do have a soundtrack. The thing about this, I made this clip. I can actually get rid of that soundtrack by unlinking them. I can go to unlink, and now I can click on the dialogue track. I can push delete, and now I just have that one right there. So I can do a little editing here. So I can, instead of having that Earth Day pop up, I can go right to the end here, right about there, and I can continue this on in there. So now it's gonna pop from that to this top one. You can make it shorter, but you can't, I guess you can't make it longer. Nope, you can't make it longer. All right, so that's as long as it gets. Some clips you can do that with though, but right now it's telling you this is what I want. All right, so now you get to this point and you say, you know what, let's just fade it out. So we're just going to go up to edit. We're going to put our opacity, click on that. And here you can scroll, you can actually click on there and you can just watch. See, it says 4403. So if you want a second, you just go to the next one, 4503. You can actually type it in if you like, or you can eyeball it like that. And then you can put another keyframe, and this one is going to fade to dark black. All right, you see, there he is. Oh, and see what's happening here. Watch this.
And happy Earth Day.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you said you lied. No. What's happening is dissolving. It's fading to the bottom layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this layer up, shorten that layer, making sure I'm not clipping my words.
Happy Earth Day.
There we go. See, now it's just fading to black in here. So I'm just going to bring that all the way back and see that little triangle that pops up. That means it's together, it's lined up. You can also zoom in like this and zoom over to the end thing just to make sure. Yep, it's lined up pretty good there. All right, so basically it's going to fade out to black. If you want to add more layers, you just click over here in this area, you right click, and you can add a track. So you can add a track and it will pop a track up here. Sometimes you got to use these to kind of see. Now I got 4 of them. All right, so maybe you don't want 5 tracks. You can do the opposite. You can delete a track. Say delete a track. See, it goes right to the last one. And I want to delete another one. And I think that's all I got, right? Yeah, I only got 2 tracks. So, you know, if I want to put a title, that could put a title there. If same with sound, just go over to your sound area here, right click, and then you can add tracks. So you can add a track over here. See, it just made another soundtrack. If you don't like that, Control Z makes it go away. All right, so there, I've got 3 soundtracks. I don't really need 3 of them. If you don't want to listen to a soundtrack, you can mute the track like that. But you want to make sure all these things are highlighted. I don't know, sometimes you get into a program, it won't do that. It'll only show you what's highlighted. I don't know. It's kind of funky. Sometimes it does this stuff. That's the whole thing right there. It's all done. You've checked it, you've gone through it, you make sure the sound levels are good. You mainly want to make sure that you're not hitting 0. You're staying like in this area between 6 and 12. If you've got sound levels down here, it's too quiet. You've recorded it wrong. You've made it too quiet. So avoid that, because people will have to turn up their volume to hear it. They might not hear it. So you want to make sure that's kind of in this area here, popping up and down, never staying at 0, because that's like blaring your speakers. So now how do I get this out of here? You just go to File, you go to Export, you look for Media. There's also Control M there. You click on that. Sometimes it doesn't pop up, especially if you're in editing. Usually I have to go into Assembly first, and then it pops up. Okay, so right now that's where my thing is. That's how long my segment is. It goes right to the end, 45 seconds or so. Right now I have a title here, but I'm going to call it something else. So I'm going to click on here. And make sure, sometimes it goes to the weird spot. So I have to go back to my original folder to make sure it goes there, because I don't want to lose this thing after I've rendered it out. So I'm just going to call in here. This is where all my other stuff is. And I'm just going to say, just going to give it a title so I know it's just a demo. There we go. And I'm going to say save it. So it calls it this. It says it's going to export all this. This is what it's going to turn it into. There's all these settings. If you click on here, I usually use H.264. That will turn it into a MPEG. And you have to set up all this stuff. It's on hardware encoding, so it knows this. There's all these little things you got to set up, but if you go to like a YouTube channel, it can show you how to set up what you need to do. But now I'm just going to export it and watch what happens. Now I knows it's going to go where it's supposed to go. Right there it is. That's where it's going to go. And then I say export, and I wait. And usually if you have something longer than this, it might take an hour, might take a couple hours, depending on how many effects you have, how many tracks, how many everything. It takes time to render it out. Anyway, so once it gets into this, it'll say it's done. And usually, here it is, right there. And I'm looking for my demo. There he is. And it's an MP4 file. It's about 2 megabytes. Click on it, I check it.
Hello, mankind. This is the Earth talking. I want to thank you for thinking of me one day a year, if you think of me at all. I'm not complaining here, but I want to let you know, just give you a little warning. You guys need to start doing that recycling thing again. All the new masks and gloves that keep falling all over the place, I don't know, you're trying to keep yourself alive, but you're throwing stuff into the oceans and the rivers and streams and all that stuff. And you know what? I'd appreciate it if you think about me more than just one day a year. Thank you, and happy Earth Day.
And so that's an Earth Day thing that I didn't get done this Earth Day. Hopefully there's another Earth Day out there that we can celebrate. Hopefully it'll be a better Earth Day. And all that. But basically, that's how you set up a file, and that's how you edit in Premiere. You're basically don't want to use Harmony as your editing tool. You want to use an editing tool, and that's what Premiere is. So, if you have any questions about that, let me know. And otherwise, yeah, just just let me know. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that, and we'll talk to you later.